Hello, welcome or welcome back to Truthseekerstea. My name is Kate and I'm thankful to have you here for today's pick a card reading. We're going to be doing a check-in to see your person's current thoughts and feelings towards you. Before we get into it, there will be an energy check-in. So we'll spend the first 10 minutes or so seeing your current thoughts and feelings towards this person or your perspective of the connection and what you'd say about it. If you guys don't want to watch that, you can definitely skip it. There will also be an extended reading for those of you that feel that it really resonates and you want to go deeper into the reading. I'll decide the topic as we go along depending on what comes through in your reading. So there are 3 piles to choose from. For pile number 1, we have the Rosy Future Tarot with this green aventurine crystal. For pile number 2, we have the Spirit Speaks Tarot with this clear quartz raw crystal. And for pile number 3, we have the Wild Rituals Intentions deck with this citrine raw crystal. So take whatever time you need to tune into the pile you're feeling the most drawn to. I will have the timestamps linked down below, the names of these decks. I will also have the extended readings and any other information about me. But other than that, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy your reading. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose the Rosy Future Tarot and this Adventuring Raw Crystal, then this is going to be your reading where we're looking at your person's current thoughts and feelings towards you. And this is meant to be just more of a check-in just to see what's going on and whatever connection you're thinking about. So before we get into it, we are going to be doing an energy check-in where we're going to be looking at your current thoughts and feelings toward this person that you have on your mind. So hopefully this will resonate with you, or at least the connection that you do want to hear more about. There will be an extended reading as well, and it'll probably be different for each pile just depending on what comes through. So stay tuned for that if you do really feel like it resonates and you want to go deeper into it. All right, please tune me into pile number 1's subjective energy in this connection. How would they describe the current state of the connection? How would they describe this person? If they were talking to someone, what would they say? All right, we have the 9 of Pentacles. All right, I have to cover this. 1 second. At least it's really tiny, so 1 crystal can cover everything, hopefully. All right, we have the Lovers in reverse. So Gemini energy coming through. How would pile 1 describe this connection? Anything about it or the person or themselves? We have the Knight of Wands. A song that just came through that I've been listening to a lot recently is called Feel the Way I Want To. And I'm not sure who it's by, but if you look it up, I'm sure it'll come up. But like, there's kind of a rebellious nature in that song of like, I'm going to kind of do what I want to do. And that's just kind of coming through here. All right, we have the King of Cups here in the reverse. I'm almost like getting this feeling, yeah, look at this Queen of Wands at the back of the deck. There's almost an energy here of like someone who's maybe tired of, I don't know, especially with the King of Cups here in reverse, there could be someone that is maybe emotionally manipulative ever so slightly, because it almost just feels like there's maybe someone who's critical of the other person for doing things that they want to do, and like they might say that it's like not them doing it for the connection, if that makes sense. Like someone might be standing more on their independence or just doing whatever they want to do, but it doesn't seem like it's anything that's like negative. It just seems like someone might be almost trying to, it's almost like a controlling energy of like, oh, like, well, don't you see how that impacts me when you do this? But it's like someone's doing something that's completely in their power to do, if that makes sense. Can we clarify the Nine of Pentacles? We also have the Nine of Swords here, and I'm also getting like, this also could be a situation where one person maybe put some of their self-worth into the other person's opinion. And so there could have been some point in this connection where like there used to be a lot of anxiety about what this other person was going to think or what they were going to say about them. Like, I don't know, it's just coming through like there's someone who's judgmental as a way of being somewhat controlling, but I feel like there's someone who's kind of taking their freedom and working on their own value and propping themselves up, even if it's not approved of by this other person, is how it feels. Quick clarify the Lovers in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles here in the reverse. Quick clarify the Knight of Wands. We have the Queen of Cups. Quick clarify the King of Cups. All right, we have Judgment here in reverse. I just need to get another crystal to cover it. Yeah, so I am really getting this like sort of unfair or like false judgment. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Like, I feel like someone is trying to maybe make another person feel bad, because it's coming across like someone maybe was worried that they weren't doing enough for the connection or something, or maybe like took on the feeling that they, I don't know, like weren't putting energy into the connection or something. But I feel like more than anything else, a person has actually been just like maybe exploring, like just taking actions that they want to take independently is really what I'm getting. And I just feel like this King of Cups figure is coming to the wrong conclusion about that as a way to sort of try to control the situation or guilt trip this Queen of Cups here. And it's like I might be very compassionate. Like I may be very good at empathizing, but it's almost like that I'm not going to let a person make me feel like take advantage almost of the kindness in a sense. Or it's like it's giving the energy of someone who tries to make another person feel bad emotionally or like guilt tripping them. Because they know that there's someone who will like apologize or will feel bad. But I almost feel like there's someone that's stepping more into their power in the situation of like, I'm not going to listen to this person's, judgment call. And just the way that the Queen of Cups is here, like I almost feel like there's someone who's kind of doing whatever they want to do, even though someone's like not happy with them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm picking up on. So let's see then how your person is thinking and feeling about you. Just want to get a sip of water. All right. So how is pile number one's person feeling about them right now? What are their feelings and thoughts? We have the Ten of Wands. We have the Fool. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse, and we have the Two of Swords in reverse. We clarify the Ten of Wands. Eight of Wands. We clarify the Fool. We have the World in reverse. We clarify the Queen of Swords in reverse. We have the Four of Wands. And then can we clarify the Two of Swords in reverse? The Four or Five of Swords in reverse here. And then the Seven of Wands here in reverse. Yeah, so I'm really, really picking up a situation where it's like there's one person that is almost like slowing down another person or not wanting them to give up responsibility for the connection. And it's almost like with the world in reverse, this can be a couple of different things, but I feel like there's someone that's like making them feel like they can't kind of maybe like take risks or go in some new direction, even with the Fool. It's also Aquarius energy again. I've been getting this overall theme on my channel recently of like Aquarius energy and being forward thinking, doing things differently, being innovative, being unique, thinking in a unique way instead of just playing in with the status quo. And so I almost feel like there's someone here that's like, no, you need to stick to the status quo, and like wanting them to doubt themselves. Like there's someone that wants the person who's maybe not wanting to make their own decisions. Like with the Queen of Swords in reverse here, I'm getting it to be someone that maybe in the past could be more influenced around like what they actually think about things, or they maybe didn't stand firm on like what they want in life or how they feel about things or what their boundaries are. Like I feel like this is someone who maybe always felt like unsure of themselves, like not sure if they're right in what they think. And I feel like with the Four of Swords here, it's like this internalized behavior though that I feel like ended up being like self-sabotaging for them, where it's like they may have had people around them with the Five of Swords energy kind of have them internalizing things that are not fair or true to them, that make them feel more uncertain about themselves or slow them down, make them feel like they can't make the changes that they want to make them feel very like burdened. But okay, it's like I can see this from either direction though. It's like I think if this is really representing the other person's feelings, the person who's maybe almost treading on someone else's right to make their own decision and to not feel bad about that, like I almost feel like that person is wanting the other person to like fall on their sword, or like it's like the Seven of Wands in reverse. The Seven of Wands upright is this energy of standing your ground, and especially if people are like opposing you or saying something that doesn't align with like your values or truth, or like what's happened in a situation, like what you believe. It's like standing really strong in your belief and not backing down under pressure. It's like this person wants this other person, like the person who I'm just gonna guess that I don't know though. I don't know exactly who you are coming to this reading for, so I'm just gonna leave it open then. Like I feel that there is someone in the connection that wants the other person to not feel confident in their ability to make their own decisions and sort of be a leader in a way, even. Like it's almost this feeling of not wanting someone to stand out or not wanting someone to succeed, even, is what I'm getting. It's like that's why I was coming across as like a little bit manipulative, because it felt like there's someone who isn't above resorting to like either emotional manipulation or like mental warfare to make the other person doubt their validity and maybe make them feel like they wouldn't be successful, or make them feel like they shouldn't move forward in some way. Or even maybe make them feel like they need the support of this connection, or they need this, like they need to stay home or something. Like it's kind of giving that as well, where it's like stay safe, where you have everything taken care of for you. Like why would you want to leave that almost? And it's almost also this energy of like you have too many responsibilities here to this. I'm getting like family, or even if this isn't like a full-on relationship, it's almost like there's someone who just kind of wants them to stay in a box or like in a lane that they decided for them, is how it feels. And it's like someone is uncomfortable with another person maybe wanting to do something new or be more free even from the responsibilities, especially if there's like a lot of responsibility in the situation. Because I was picking up in the energy check-in that it felt like someone wanted to make more decisions for themselves, and there's another person who's making them feel like selfish for that, or make them feel like their responsibility is to the relationship or to the community, whatever, to the work, to the friendship. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's almost this feeling of trying to create uncertainty in the other person around their moves that they want to make. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. A fearful world. And I just cut the deck to this. Yeah, and then I feel like with the sword here, wow, these two are really relevant for this, because the sword is all about in general in this deck, but like in general, it's really like the sword of truth. It's really to do with the different elements of a sword. How like a sword can be something to like cut ties, but it's like a decisive sort of an action. It's like speaking your own truth decisively, but also making your own decisions and standing by your decisions. And I feel like with this sword here, it also talks about being comfortable with like, I want to say like cutting off. I really think it has to do with decision making in this deck. I just want to see if there's any other message. It says, you're the creator of which direction you go, which season you live in, your birth and rebirth again. Hold the sword in your power. You have control, and you can use your sword to protect your constant transformation. Yeah. And so I just feel like there's someone that's like this sort of influence around them that like someone else is trying to close out. Like, I don't need all the noise, or I don't need all the advice. I can make my own decisions. And again, it's giving that energy of don't leave home because you're not safe out there. Like, you should stay just right here. And for me, this always goes back to, which is, this is always an extreme example and not something that I'm saying is someone's situation, but it's the essence of this, where in Tangled, and it's like the story of Rapunzel, but in Tangled specifically, where like there's like a mother knows best in the situation. That's like a song she sings. And then she's like trying to tell Rapunzel that, you know, the world isn't safe out there, and that, you know, she gives her everything she needs here, and like that she shouldn't question the outdoors or take any risks. That she does, it's almost like convincing her that she doesn't have the knowledge she needs to like make decisions for herself, or like kind of like that. And so it's like the whole movie is really about her tuning out this like you should be scared energy and learning to make her own decisions. And like, and actually very literally, almost like the moment of like, I would say catharsis for the main person in Tangled is she actually cuts her hair, and like she makes that decision to cut her hair, where it's like, but all in all, that's what the mother was coveting. And so it gives that energy of like someone trying to convince someone else that something's for their own good, or that they're just trying to protect them, when it's like you're actually you're trying to control this person, like you're being controlling. And that is self-serving, you know? Can we clarify this information, this energy? We have healing through rest. We have under a spell. That's really interesting. Death of the deceitful. Yeah, so I don't know. For some of you, like if you guys are the people that are coming to this reading, like, and you are the ones who don't want someone else to sort of be free to make their own decisions, like I would say this would be the wrong channel for you, because that person, and if this is you that I'm talking about now, which it could just be reflected in this other person's feelings, but it's almost like someone's cutting through the illusion that they were under. And in this situation with the Rapunzel story, it's like, I'm sure it was a really hard moment for her when she realized that the one person that had been around her whole life was telling her a complete lie. And it's like, it's a lot better or easier probably for her to believe that that the mom was loving toward her, and that it was true that like she was just protecting her and stuff. But like that was a spell, it wasn't the truth. And so there's something here around like cutting through the BS of something, or like a relationship or a situation that isn't really nourishing or good for them. Or even like healing through rest. Like it's almost this feeling of like, I don't know, there could be a person that is maybe taking less time in the situation to be super busy or just like do a bunch of things for this other person or for whatever the situation is. And it's almost like as they're resting, it's like they're not as busy and they're slowing down. They're starting to see the truth of the situation is almost how it feels. And it really does feel like a situation where we thought it was this Four of Wands, like a supportive community, a place of safety, but we're realizing that it's actually this place that makes us, that breeds self-doubt within ourselves, and that it's actually not a safe environment is almost how it feels. But yeah, and healing through rest could be like, I don't know, another situation I'm getting is like, if one person was more vulnerable when they met the other person, like, and I'm getting the person that maybe is now trying to be more independent. If that person met up with this other person during that time, it could have been that the dynamic was one where that person really did need like help or something, or needed the support of them. But again, it's giving sort of like rescuer turned persecutor. It's giving one of those two where it's like one person wants someone to stay a victim in the situation or stay down, not be a creator of their own life. And it's almost like this other person bounces maybe in between being a rescuer and a persecutor. And if you don't know what that is, I would look it up. It's a really helpful lens to look at situations through. And I think that's why it can be so confusing too sometimes, like, because each role can really switch. And so sometimes like the rescuer can become the persecutor if the victim no longer wants to be a victim. Then the rescuer doesn't have that ego identity. And I've explained this in a lot of other readings, but if you haven't heard it, I'm just going to quickly say that this is not talking about real situations of like ABUSE or like it could, but not in this situation. I'm just saying that these are ego roles that we start taking on, and it's like when there's drama in situations, usually this triangle is a part of it. So it's like oftentimes in our head, it could start with the persecutor, like so someone who's persecuting another, that person becomes the victim. Then enters the rescuer who rescues the victim from the persecutor. And it's like we need all three of these things to be a part of it for us to be in the position that we want and our ego wants. And so in the situation, for example, in the Rapunzel, it's like the reason why we had a fearful world coming through is like, it's almost like, so the witch or the person that kept Rapunzel in the house, it's like they were trying to take on the role as like rescuer, or like that's what they were identifying with, but they could only have that role by convincing the main girl, Rapunzel, I guess, that she's being persecuted, like that it's not safe for her, right? Or blah, blah. So actually I'm rescuing you. Same for maybe this situation. It's like someone who's kind of saying, oh, it's like, I just have your best interest at heart, or like, you know, I just want what's best for you. But it's like, it's actually kind of like the victim waking up and realizing, okay, but if I want to be a creator, like I should be free to be a creator. And then it's like, then they're not a rescuer anymore. So it's like, and the whole movie really is about her going from victim to creator in her life, making her own decisions, changing her circumstances, facing what she needs to face for herself, right? Empowering herself. And so I almost feel like someone is on a kick like that. And it's like, I have enough strength and enough ability to do that. And so it's becoming more and more clear that this other person is turning more persecutor-like. And so I feel like if we're talking about how this other person feels, like that King of Cups in reverse, they feel like you are breaking out from under the spell in a way. Like, yeah. Yeah, we've cast your sacred symbols here as well. Yeah, rainbow transference. Wow. I just need a sip of water. It feels like there's someone here that wants to maybe step more into their purpose, or I don't know, discover themselves even. It's like they want to make a mark. Yeah, especially with cast your sacred symbols. It's almost like giving the energy. Does not have to be your situation. Make it apply if it does. But it's almost this feeling of like someone waking up from like a situation they've been in for a while and realizing that this isn't all they want their life to be. Like for example, if someone was like maybe in a marriage or something and they were happy just like cleaning the house and like taking care of the dogs and cleaning, blah, 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 all that. It's almost like this feeling of at one point that was what was good in the situation or maybe worked for both of them, but it feels like one person is growing outside of that fence. And it's like, actually, I want more for my life. I want the opportunity to go and discover that. Like there's no reason why I can't. Yeah, we can even have more noble. Yeah, and I'm not your puppet, right? Someone is feeling like there's like a puppet situation. So I even want to, it says, cut those strings. You're no one's puppet. You're a treasure and your actions cannot be influenced by the strings someone else has attached to you. This card wants you to be aware of entering projects or relationships that seem like a great deal, but there's a fine print. And that's what I'm getting at. Is like, it seems like this is a good place to land, but then suddenly you realize that there's something you have to like sacrifice. So it says you can find a better deal, a better project, another friendship where you have full control of your actions and contributions. If you're going to give your time, energy, and love to something or someone, it needs to be in a space where you're fully honored and not manipulated. So yeah, that totally is how I'm feeling. And honestly, if you guys are trying to know how this other person is feeling, this is someone who like, it doesn't even matter almost. Like, it's not that it doesn't matter. It's just to say that what's more important is validating yourself in this situation if you guys are feeling stressed out in a situation like this. And if you guys are the person who maybe is being somewhat overbearing to another person, this would be a good moment to go, that's unfair. And like, I really do need to let this person make their own decisions. And like, I have to admit to myself that this isn't actually a good situation for them if I'm not letting them grow or like do what they want to do, essentially. And again, this can happen either way sometimes where like we don't realize that we think we're trying to help someone, but we don't realize that it's actually instilling less confidence in that person. And like another way to describe that dynamic is like sometimes when there's overprotective parenting, like I don't think like parents are thinking, they're actually trying to protect the kid, but by doing that, they're actually hurting them in a sense, because then they may not be as confident in facing challenges in life. Like if there's a parent that steps in and does everything for them or fixes all their problems or doesn't let them experience the consequences of their actions and like doesn't let them do all that almost, they won't learn self-dependency and like endurance and at the end of the day, it's going to end up hurting their sense of self-esteem, right? It's like we build self-esteem when we overcome challenges. And so it's almost this feeling of someone wanting to do that and another person maybe thinking that they know what's best for them, but not realizing that that behavior in itself is unfair in a way. So hopefully you know who you are in this situation. It gave you some clarity. What do I want to do for the extended reading? I want to see what each person would want to say to the other person, just in case each of you identify as one or the other. And then I will also get guidance for each side on whatever spirit wants you to hear, like whatever's in your highest good to understand about the situation. Yeah, I want to just hear from both sides of it and see like what each person would want to tell the other person. And we'll pull message cards as well. So if you guys are interested in going deeper into it, I'll have that link down below. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me. If you guys found this interesting or helpful, if you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment. I really do appreciate everyone who does that. And if you want to see more pick a card readings from this channel, I would love for you to subscribe. But other than that, it's been an honor to read for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to connect with you again soon. Hello, pal number 2. Welcome to your reading. Excuse me. If you chose the Spirit Speaks Tarot and this clear quartz raw crystal, then this is going to be a reading where we're looking at your person's current thoughts and feelings toward you. I just want to say that the lighting, I'm filming this a little bit later in the day, so it's not as good as natural lighting. So hopefully you can ignore that. But anyways, before we get in, I am going to be looking at this relationship, this person through your perspective, what you would say to someone if you were describing this person, the relationship, giving them context. So I'm going to mirror that back to you, and hopefully that will give you a better idea of whether or not this is your pile, or if it's even a connection that you may still want to hear about if it's not the person you came for. So there will be an extended reading, and it will depend completely on what comes through in this reading, what makes the most sense to go into a little deeper. So stay tuned for that if it really resonates and you want to listen to more. But for now, please tune me into pile number 2, subjective experience of this person, this connection. What would they say about it? Okay, we have the 10 of Pentacles. We have the Moon, Cancer energy. We have the Star, Aquarius. And the 10 of Cups, wow. Wow. Okay, can we clarify the 10 of Pentacles? We have the 3 of Swords. Can we clarify the Moon? We have the 6 of Pentacles. Can we clarify the Star? We have the 10 of Swords. Can we clarify the 10 of Cups? All right, we have the Hierophant here in the reverse, and then the Ace of Cups in reverse. Okay. Let me just tune into this because I feel like I'm getting some messages, but I'm trying to put the whole picture together. Okay, I feel like for some of you, just with the Moon being here, it makes me feel like some of you may be somewhat confused or feeling like things aren't super clear, or like you feel untrusting in the situation. And I'm still trying to figure out whether or not this is from a past experience that you're taking into a new experience. So that might be something for you to be aware of, that I'm picking up on one situation where we're talking about what's happened already, or it feels like this might be a newer connection that has promise and we're concerned about the past reoccurring here. But either way, something that I think will resonate, at least with the current situation or something from your past, is this feeling of confusion and fear around why certain situations, or maybe a specific one, why it can seem like there's so much promise and like you might really get your hopes up of something being really long term or something that like might make you really happy, because it feels like there's this energy of having hope for something to be like your happily ever after in a sense. But then there's almost this fear of like believing that about a situation and then getting your heart broken or giving too much to something that ends up in like either betrayal, like a very difficult ending. Yeah, betrayal, lack of commitment, even someone that doesn't, maybe betrays you literally, because it's like with the Ace of Cups in reverse here, it's like there's this feeling of opportunities in love that seem really promising that turn sour or different than what you expected. And I feel like there's even this energy of like, I don't understand maybe why this happens to me, because I feel like I do give a lot, or like, why don't I get back what I give? But yeah, it just feels like, why can't I get the loyalty, the commitment, the dedication to a happy future that I give in situations? Instead, I just get like my heart broken. So this could be a specific situation where that happened, where like you don't know why things like you don't get it almost. It's like, why would this person turn out this way? Or like, why did it turn out to be like this? Like, and for some people, it could even be that I'm picking up on two situations. Like some people may give a lot into situations because they see a lot of promise in the situation. But I'm almost starting to see on the flip side of that, like if that's happened and then we've gotten our heart broken, it's almost like now we're going to situations and we're afraid to give and commit because of the heartbreak we're still carrying with us and that we're afraid of occurring again. So I don't know if this is like two different types of people in a situation. I don't know. Hopefully some of that resonates with you because I'm almost seeing like, yeah, it could be a person overall, no matter who's coming to this reading. I feel that most would resonate with struggling to progress relationships due to maybe giving too much and trusting in the wrong situation before we were sure, I guess, or reading too far into the future. Either way, it feels like we're really reading far into the future because we're going from the Ace of Cups to the 10 of Cups and like the 10 of Pentacles, where it's like, it's either like we're overly optimistic and we invest too much too soon before we know, before things are even clear, or before we see any threat, we don't trust. Even when something gives us hope, we still don't trust it and we feel the need to maybe protect our heart rather than invest in something. But either way, it's like I feel like each person recognizes that they do want this 10 of Cups, this 10 of Pentacles. Okay, but let me see with the, from most people that are watching, what is their viewpoint with the 6 of Pentacles? All right, we have the 6 of Wands in reverse. Okay, yeah, so I feel like it's still giving either way, I'm not sure, because it definitely feels though that there's someone that feels like they give a lot in connections and then they don't get the victory or recognition that they feel they deserve. Like it goes unappreciated is how I think you are feeling. And yeah, like the 4 of Cups here, it's almost like now I'm almost afraid of new opportunities because it's like I don't want to put work into them if the other person isn't going to put work in. But then I'm almost like I'm seeing a cycle here where it's almost like, imagine if the first time this happened, it happened by someone who was actually also wounded in the same way. This could be the dynamic here. Like there could be one person that honestly wanted this both people I think wanted the happily ever after, but it feels like one person was, more optimistic and then the other wasn't. Either way, it seems like there's a pattern of like, why does it happen this way? Or why do I deserve this even? Okay, can we look at I think that's what I'm picking up on. So I guess I'll see what comes through when we look at how are they feeling about you, because I feel like I'm gonna be able to figure out which person it is, hopefully. But yeah, I hope I'm making sense. Hopefully this is giving you enough information to feel whether or not this reading is going to be relevant for you. I don't know if I said it already, but we also have Taurus energy here. Either way, I can tell that this group has not given up on the hopes and like dreams of a happy family or like a happily ever after. But But with the moon there, it makes me feel like there's maybe some shadow work or healing that needs to be done, to see either where we are self-sabotaging connections because we're afraid of getting hurt, or whether or not we are putting energy into situations that haven't been well vetted enough, or like maybe we're ignoring red flags, for example. It feels like either or could apply. It's two sides of the same coin is how it feels. And so I'm not exactly sure if it's that you and your person have the same energy. I feel like for some of you it is, but like two sides of the same coin. For some people, you might just be coming to learn about like a situation where you thought it had a lot of promise, and then you ended up like, it really ended up not working out, and you don't get why that happened. I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably go more into that in the extended of like, I don't know, deciphering maybe the energetic patterns and like getting more guidance around how we can avoid the same pattern here. Okay, so for pile number 2, how is their person currently thinking and feeling about them? Okay, we have the 6 of Swords in reverse. We have the 2 of Wands. We have the 6 of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Wands in reverse. The King of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles. Justice in reverse. Can we clarify the 6 of Swords in reverse? Okay, the Moon as well. So I feel like, and then the Hierophant at the back of the deck. Regardless, I feel like in this situation, there's definitely like shadow like, it's like each person, it feels like there's blind spots in the situation, or it feels like both people are actually somewhat confused here. Okay, so once again, I am seeing this in multiple situations or from multiple people's point of view. So overall, it feels like a relationship here may have turned sour, but it's like it's hard to move on from it because it's like there is still something to work out from it. I just almost feel like there's been a lack of clarity as to accounting for everybody's actions. And I don't want to say like assigning fault, but I almost just feel like there hasn't been justice in the sense of like who was in the right, who was in the wrong, what each person did that maybe was unfair or fair to the other person. Like, it seems that that is unclear at the moment. And I feel like because of that, it's almost like there's still some kind of conflict here is like what I want to say. Because when it's like we can't move on from this because there's something that needs to be revisited, maybe from the 5 of Swords. It's almost like there's something we still need to hash out. But it might be suppressed or like buried in some way, or it might just not be clear to each person, like what's maybe still bothering them in this situation. But I can see here that it's almost like one person thinks that the other person didn't try hard enough and didn't actually like put the work into the situation. And so that person almost feels like they were wronged because they gave more than they received in the situation. And it's like that person feels like that's why things didn't move forward, was because of this like lack of effort, lack of commitment, lack of seriousness. like someone giving up almost. And it's almost like that person feels like it's hard for them to move on. Yeah, it's almost just like there's this lack of clarity and finality to the situation as to why things went the way they did. Yeah, okay. And then so what I'm seeing, and I feel like that person feels like they were very committed to the other person. Like they feel like they were very committed in doing everything they could to get things off the ground. Either way, though, I'm almost seeing this. I'm not sure. I'm seeing a loop. Like what I'm seeing in my head is like a cycle going on where each person isn't that different from the other, if that makes sense. Like it's almost like if one person does their shadow work on why they feel upset from the past, like if they do that shadow work of whatever baggage they're carrying, it's like they're going to understand the other person a lot better. It's like there's miscommunication in this situation. And I don't know if I'm seeing this from a higher perspective because I'm seeing how this person feels, but it's almost like it's still convoluted. So what I mean by that is it's almost like each person is right in a way. But especially for the person that maybe feels like they really did commit to the situation, were willing to work on things, were willing to pour energy in, like didn't want to give up, did want to commit, like that person feels wronged by the other person because they feel that they didn't give it the same care. And so they feel like that person didn't really care about them or didn't really think they were important or worth committing to or worthwhile, if that makes sense. And so that is something that is still bothering that person. And they're still feeling like hurt from that. And I feel like here's the thing is that the other person that maybe did hesitate to commit or pour a lot in or continue things or like fight for things, I feel like that person did that because of how their past was impacting them still. And the moon being here makes me feel like there's subconscious wounds that impacted how this connection could move forward. So the reason why they did that wasn't because they didn't see the first person I was just talking about as worthy or that they didn't consciously try to neglect or take advantage or lie or manipulate or do anything wrong. They weren't trying to do anything wrong. And yeah, I'm seeing this come full circle. But at the end of the day, I think they ended up hurting that other person in a similar way to the way that they've been hurt before. So the very reason why they ended up not pouring in or working on things was because someone did the same thing to them. And so what would be healing for that person who maybe, so now what I'm trying to explain is that it's almost hard for the person who didn't invest in this situation to see how they were maybe in the wrong because they, in their mind, they really cared about the other person and like they didn't have any intention to hurt them. And they can't, but then they're having a hard time understanding how their lack of balance in the situation and lack of investment did speak for itself. Like the actions that were not taken or were taken implied that what that person internalized painfully, if that makes sense, that maybe the other person didn't care as much or wasn't as committed or didn't want commitment, didn't align, whatever. And so what's a mystery to that person is they would be able to understand how the other person feels hurt and wronged if they were to reflect on the fact that if they were able to get the perspective from their past that maybe that's how another person felt towards them, if that makes sense. It's almost like within their shadow has the clarity of the situation. It's like they're having a hard time understanding why the other person is hurt or feels wronged. But if they just did reflection on their own past, it's almost like they would be able to see how that could have happened. And not only would they still see that they probably still hurt the other person, even if they had good intentions, they might have to admit that maybe when they were hurt, the other person didn't have bad intentions. But if they've been internalizing this story around how they were taken advantage of in a relationship, or how they were hurt, or how they were wronged, that's a part of like their identity. And so I hope this makes sense how it's going in a circle, where it's like that person has like an ego death coming, where it's like needing to forgive their past. Yeah, it's like this is an opportunity to forgive their past through seeing that they accidentally, or just to see that they ended up on the other side of the same situation is almost how I feel. And then they might, yeah, and that would give a lot of growth for them, I guess. And so, but I feel like going back to that first person that maybe feels like they invested more in this situation, it's almost like they feel now a similar sense of being wronged in a way, where it's like, it's almost like this feeling of, I can't open my heart or trust other people, because when I'm vulnerable and when I do give, that hurts me. That ends up being taken advantage of. And so I should be closed off to people in the future too. But it's like the need to end this cycle through, anyone can end it, but it's like the person that maybe is most recently hurt in this situation, it would help to understand that the person didn't not work on things or hold back from it because they didn't think that that person was worthy. They were acting from a wounded place. Doesn't mean that it didn't hurt, but it's just to say that it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to change the way they approach relationships now. It's like they can see it as circumstantial and not something that's always going to happen, or just happens for no reason. And I feel like that's the biggest part of this that's really confusing here, is it's almost this situation where you don't fully see the other person's wounds. That's what it feels like. It feels like in both of these situations, it's hard to see what the other person's baggage is, or what the other person's hurt about. And so why they're acting the way that they're acting. It's like, it makes it seem like it's unjust, or that it is harmful behavior. But it's like, if each person could just see the wounds that the other person was dealing with, it wouldn't look that way to them anymore. And so I'm just feeling like in this situation, it is, what's the right word? Convoluted. There's a lack of clarity and assumptions being made. And it's also this energy of not seeing the other person clearly and in their entirety. Because it just feels like what makes this hard is that there's almost this bewildered feeling of like, especially, for example, the person who wasn't investing as much, came off though, like they hid that part of themselves. Like they hid that part of themselves that they're actually like afraid to invest. It could seem like things shifted up out of nowhere. And so I almost feel like there's just this energy around not being able to trust good things that have come out of these situations and these cycles. And I think that would help give each person clarity to understand, I hope that makes sense. It's like one person can understand that that person was wounded and that's why they didn't invest. It doesn't make it okay, but that is actually why. And then the person who did not invest because of their own wounding can understand how painful that might have been for the person they didn't invest in. And that might give them context, especially if they can put into perspective how much they probably have villainized someone from their past that did the same thing to them. So yeah, it's all about perspective and being objective about this and putting things into context and healing our own wounds here. Yeah, so I don't know. That was kind of a non-traditional sort of way of reading this, but I want to see if there's like I want to see what deck I want to use for guidance. I think I'm going to use, I just want to like get a clarity from this. I just thought trust and divine detours here. And I feel like that's a part of it too, is like this feeling of like, putting so much pressure on things to work. I feel like that's what each person has in common, though, is like, it's almost like we are so caught, we're not being process oriented, we're being more results oriented, to a point where we're either so invested that something's going to work out that we overgive and then are like, feel very devastated if it doesn't work out. Or we are so afraid of like going down a path that isn't right for us that we don't invest and interact, if that makes sense. So I feel like for one person here, the lesson might be to learn to put less intensity and less importance on situations before too early in a relationship, before I don't know, because we just want it to work out so bad, I guess. And then on the other side, it's like learning to open up and invest more, and seeing how it can turn into self-sabotage by not investing, you know, because then it gives the other person that message and then it actually creates a situation where it doesn't work out. But also similar to the other side, it's like if we are putting a lot of pressure on something to work out, like being mindful of how that could be stressful for the other person. Another message I was getting was like, I feel like if you are the person in this situation that wanted the other person to invest more, there could have been a feeling of like, what I give isn't enough coming from this other person. And so there's almost this fear of like the person who maybe came in with the baggage who's afraid to commit. It's almost like they were afraid of being devalued or not being good enough for the situation. And so it's almost like they may have taken any setback or any like criticism even as something that was just gonna be this other situation, or something that they like didn't have the energy to overcome, if that makes sense. It's almost like there's this energy of like, no matter what I give, it's almost like the King of Pentacles is like, it's not in his situation for the, sorry, I just need to clarify, like the person that came to this specific situation, less open to truly committing. It's not as much of, no matter how much I give, it's not enough. It's like, no matter what I do, it's not good enough. You know, it's like that feeling. And so it's almost like, well, one person could be feeling like they need more, so they feel like it's going to be successful. And it's like they're giving more and they want the other person to give more because they want to ensure that things work out. It's like that's almost making the other person feel like what they're doing is not good enough. And then it makes them get cold feet and makes them feel like they definitely shouldn't invest in the situation. So I feel like that's what happened here. I hope that gives, I hope that makes sense. It's like a very similar wound, but same, but different. Like two sides of the same coin kind of energy that both of you were in, it feels like. So what's the overall, can we clarify this energy overall? Yeah, we have Spirit has your back. It's an overall like lack of trust in your path in a way, and almost feeling like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, look at this. Nothing is wasted. It wanted to come out like vulture spirit, where it's like, we're almost, it's like this like feeling of I don't want to go down the wrong path, but then not realizing that sometimes we have certain experiences that are going to catapult us towards a better reality, but it's like it's still important to partake in the experience, I guess. Let me see if there's any highlights from this. Oh, this is kind of cute as well. It says, what seems hideous has its own beauty, and the recycling and repurposing the vulture does is as important as any other activity in nature that supports a cycle of life. The message is that nothing is to be wasted, for nature sees value in everything that exists. What seems rotten and ugly has the potential to be transformed into something beneficial, and you're reminded that any suffering you've experienced has not gone to waste. Wisdom and understanding that arose from the experience are talismans that will serve you on your journey. What is decaying is only changing form and will fertilize seeds you wish to plant, turning that which has passed away into substance that will support new growth. You may wish to deny or discard value. All that you might wish to deny or discard has value and can be repurposed and reintegrated into the new you that you're becoming and the new life that you're dreaming into being. No pain was in vain and no experience was wasted, for you have the power to use it to co-create something better. Yeah. Interesting. But a lot of this has to do with this energy of needing to not to really analyze and look at what's causing us, what's still holding us back. It almost feels like, well, it's this energy of needing to face that so we can move forward and we can move into new territories. But it almost feels like each person, it almost feels stuck in some way. But it feels like it's a need to accept and really work through what's happened in the past and to see what it taught us. And through doing that, then you see much clearer, like you're much more wise. And I feel like that's what I was getting at, is like whatever our shadow is in this situation actually unlocks what we needed in order to move forward and what we needed in order to not feel so confused anymore. Anything else? Yeah, look at this. Trust and divine detours. That's actually the card I thought I was reading when it said nothing is wasted. But trust and divine detours is that exact same message as well. But it's more focused on not denying or discarding painful things from our past or just wanting to move and breeze like straight past them. But really taking the time you need to learn what you need from those detours so you aren't carrying that energy of feeling like if you feel like you've gone down a path that didn't end up being successful and that hurt you, that might create a wound where either, again, like you're afraid to invest in something or you're so invested in making sure it doesn't not work out in the way because something from our past hurt us. And so, you know what I'm really seeing is that each person may have had something from their past that impacted this connection, and prevented there from being clarity between the two. Yeah, we have claim your independence here. But with that being said, this card really talks about being open to like taking risks, especially. So I feel like the person we're reading for, more likely than not, is the person who was too afraid to invest in this. And so I feel like your energy probably, you maybe felt like you were the one to invest. I don't know. But all in all, everything I've said is just kind of being reiterated by like trusting and not being so afraid to take a risk and being willing to make your own mistakes. And even in this card too, it talks about how you can just learn from, even if something seems like a temporary failure, like sometimes things are meant to be that way because you learn from them and then it can turn into a success. So I almost feel like there's that kind of a situation around. And so, yeah, this became very like guidance related, but hopefully this kind of helped clear some things up. Okay, hello, pal number 2. I'm jumping in from the future because I decided that I want to do a different topic for the extended reading or just focusing more on this topic. So if you guys are interested in going the extended, we're going to be getting a message from each person in the connection to the other person. We're going to see what they would want to say to the other person. We'll use message cards as well, along with tarot and oracle, and then we'll be getting guidance for each side more individually. And so what I mean by each side is it seems like there was one person that was more invested or poured more into the connection and maybe was more ready for commitment. And then there was one person who seemed, because of past wounds, wasn't investing as much. But anyways, it seems like each party has some wounds that impacted the connection, but that differentiation system should help you guys figure out which category you fall into. So yeah. So if you found this helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment. I really appreciate everyone who does that. And if you want to see more pick a card readings from this channel, I would love for you to subscribe. But other than that, it's been an honor to read for you, and I hope to connect with you again soon. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Wild Rituals Intention deck and this citrine raw crystal, then this is going to be a reading where we're looking at your person's current thoughts and feelings toward you. This is meant to just be sort of a momentary check-in, but Spirit likes to do what Spirit likes to do. So we'll see what comes through. This is actually an oracle deck, so I'm going to use this throughout your reading, but I'm going to use another deck to do the tarot aspect. So this is Britt's Third Eye Tarot. So we're going to start off with an energy check-in just to see your subjective experience of this connection, this person, how you would describe it on your end. And this will hopefully help you feel more sure that you picked the right pile. Or that it is a reading that you do want to hear about someone that is relevant to you. There will be an extended reading, and it's just going to depend on what comes through during your reading. So stay tuned for that topic if you really do feel like it resonates and you are interested in listening to more about this connection or this person. But first, for those that chose pile number 3, please tune me into their subjective perception of this person and the connection. What would they say about this person and the connection? All right, we have 2 Pentacles here in the reverse. We have Temperance. I might have to cover that. Sagittarius energy. How would pile number, have I been saying pile number 2? No. How would pile number 3 describe this connection, this person? 2 of Swords, wow. So 2 decision-making cards come through. Weighing options. What else? All right, 3 of Swords. Can we clarify the 2 of Pentacles in reverse? King of Swords in reverse. Can we clarify Temperance? We have Judgment. Can we clarify the 2 of Swords? 9 of Wands. Can we clarify 3 of Swords? Wheel of Fortune. And then the 8 of Cups in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Okay, let me just tune into this. I almost feel like there's someone here that is reflecting on maybe a past decision, either your own decision or another person's decision. But it maybe feels like it's your decision. But it's almost giving this energy of like, after maybe time has passed and we're able to see things from a more balanced and objective perspective, it's almost this feeling of reviewing what the series of events that maybe led to a difficult decision, especially the 8 of Cups here. It's like walking away from something that had emotional potential, or we were already emotionally invested in something. Yeah, it's like we were emotionally invested in something here, but we maybe made a decision to walk away, even though it caused heartbreak. But there was a part of us that was feeling like everything was going to be okay almost, or that we were going to be able to get through the pain. It's almost like someone made a sort of brave decision here to felt strong in the face of this. Like, even though they didn't know in the past maybe whether or not it was the right decision, and it ended up maybe being a painful decision. Maybe it felt like that was what was fated or something, or like that felt just the way it was meant to be almost. So it's almost like accepting that. And I feel like with temperance here, it's like sort of this process of over time getting a better understanding of a situation. And like maybe at the time we didn't have all of the insight that we would have wanted. But yeah, I need to dig in a little bit more here. So why is the Two of Pentacles here in reverse? We have the Chariot. This is Cancer. Can we clarify the King of Swords in reverse? We have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I just feel that someone made the decision to maybe be single over in a relationship here. It could be that there maybe was a feeling that I'm not sure who's who yet, but I feel like there's one person in the connection. I feel like it's probably you coming through that is like reflecting and looking over your past, it feels like. And maybe you felt that you couldn't move forward with a specific person, maybe because they were very like set in their ways, or maybe we didn't have the same priorities as them. And so it's almost like if we don't have the same priorities, or there isn't a balance between the two of what we each want, or like what each of our values are, it's almost like a decision to maintain a sense of independence and wanting to feel like not wanting to stay in a connection just because we didn't want to be alone or something. But it feels like this definitely was maybe something that you had to debate over for a really long time. And kind of gain the courage to be able to move through the changes. Like it's like we accepted change in the situation. And maybe in the past, like the King of Swords in reverse could have not really seen or been maybe super open-minded. Like I almost feel that we were in a connection with someone that wasn't super open-minded to us being an individual with our own willpower. It's almost like we just didn't feel like that was balance in the situation. Can we clarify the Two of Swords? Death in reverse. Yeah, like do I let go of this? We have Scorpio energy. But it was this fear of letting go because it's painful. But it would have been staying in a situation that we maybe outgrew. It's like it feels like you guys felt that you outgrew this situation. Can we clarify the Nine of Wands? Seven of Cups. Yeah, and it feels like if anything, there's this energy of like leaving behind the past or what's familiar to go explore and learn more about ourselves. And like, even though there's more uncertainty with it, with the Wheel of Fortune here, like we don't really know what's going to happen. It's this energy of feel like having the determination or the perseverance to keep moving. Even if we know that it's going to be difficult, there's just this sense of knowing that it was going to be difficult and it wasn't like guaranteed success, but it's almost like this like belief that this was the right thing to do for you at your time on this path is what I'm feeling. So yeah, let's use this deck really quick just to get any more clarifiers. So anything else you want to highlight about this situation from pile number 3's perspective? Oh yeah, and you want to know what's super interesting actually is, you know, I was kind of planning on having this card, which is the top card here, really encapsulate this energy. And so what's super interesting is like looking at this Chariot, it also has a bow and arrow. And I just randomly chose this deck. And so what this card is about hitting your target, to bring your goals into focus, to harness the burning arrow of your soul's truest, highest aspirations. Hold this card as your ancient talisman, a gateway to a better, brighter future. My goal is attainable. My aspirations are true and right for me. With this arrow, my spirit soars. With this talisman, my potentials actualize. Yeah, so it almost feels that someone felt that they needed to continue their journey. And it's almost this calling of fate or destiny of like, I need to keep moving or something with the Eight of Cups here. And it may even be that like you felt like this was an experience you jumped into, but maybe it didn't turn out to be like sort of your Nine of Cups. And so it's almost like you're continuing on this journey, even though it requires painful decisions to be made. It's like, but there's this determination, it feels, of like, I have like a specific purpose or goal in my life that I'm not really going to let anything stop me from doing. And I'm very determined to get there, no matter the changes that it requires, no matter the painful decisions, etc. Like no matter what I have to let go of, because it's like I'm going to find success, with success at the back of the deck. Anything else though? We have abundance. We have grounding. We have deep sleep here as well. But yeah, I feel that there maybe has been a process here with Temperance of resting and balancing out ourselves after this experience. And I feel like the goal here is creating more abundance with the Wheel of Fortune. You may have even felt as well, like at some point in this connection, that like your creativity or your inspiration felt like it was hitting a standstill. And it's almost like in order to build more for ourselves, it's like we had to keep going and not kind of get stuck where we were. And I feel like this maybe was in a specific connection or situation. Yeah, and it's like Sagittarius energy is that energy of wanting to explore and maybe like leave the home, leave what's familiar, and just having that bravery to do that. All right, so for pile number 3's person, please tune me into pile number 3's person's energy. Sorry. All right. And I even feel like it's taken, I don't know, maybe courage in a sense to continue on the journey and realize that there's more to go. And I even wonder if this situation also may have been like a resting spot for you before you kind of took on your next adventure. Okay, how does pile number 3's person, what are their current thoughts and feelings towards them? The Nine of Cups. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Fool. We have Aquarius energy here. Could you clarify the Nine of Cups? We have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the Magician in reverse, and then we also have the Ten of Cups coming out all together. Can we clarify the Eight of Pentacles? We have the Four of Swords in reverse. Can we clarify the Nine of Wands? We have the Ten of Swords. Can we clarify the Fool? We have the Empress. And then Death here. Interesting. So I feel like a lot of what their thoughts and feelings are is coming through sort of like how they're viewing you. Like it's almost this energy of they have thoughts and feelings around your decision, it feels, to maybe go after your own happiness. And it's almost this energy too of like they almost feel like you weren't able in this connection, like they feel like you felt that maybe I don't know if it's responsibility. It's almost this feeling of like the traditionality or being on a pentacle, like so grounded, sort of structured plan for the future. They almost feel like that maybe got in the way of you being happy or you being able to manifest. So it's really interesting because it's like they almost see that maybe your creativity or like your individual power, it's almost like you worked better on your own is what I'm getting, or like in order at this time it's like you needed to just focus on your own craft and your own mastering yourself and really pouring energy into yourself here is what I'm getting. And they maybe feel that you didn't have the energy or you were not as able to focus on your own self and like your own, there's a lot of individuality coming through with like the 2 9s. So I almost just feel that they see that aspect of you. And I feel like they also think that they see you as someone who embraces transformation and maybe has sort of changed or gone into a new phase of their life completely. Has transformed, really. Is always in the process of transformation. Like that, they feel that way about you. And so it's almost like I don't know if it's pressure or something, like the pressure of maybe marriage or family or something like that. Like maybe that didn't seem like the most happy outcome with the 10 of Cups here. Like they see that. I want to see the 10 of Swords. Why is the 10 of Swords here? Knight of Swords in reverse. The Tower. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that I feel that this person thinks about how it would have been worse to let things get to a 10 of Swords energy between the two of you. Like this person feels like if you didn't say or do anything, like eventually there could have been like a Tower moment. Yeah. I feel that the way you made your decision allowed this person to, it's like they see your worth and they see how you do things with self-love in mind. And there's just this energy of this person seeing you as very brave and strong to take, and they see you as someone who like takes risks. Because it's like what you have to do to value yourself. The Queen of Cups here. It's almost like if you didn't go or you didn't speak on your truth or you didn't let this out, it's like then things would have eventually come crumbling down. Quickly for the 9 of Wands. We have the Queen of Wands here. Yeah, and so I feel that they really see you as someone who stands in their confidence and honors themselves. Someone who's also like been through a lot as well. I don't know why this is coming through so much as like how they view you. But they feel, another thing I'm getting with the 9 of Wands here is like, that could have been a part of your feeling in this situation. Like maybe you felt like you usually like to fight for situations until the very end, until you literally have no energy left. Like I almost feel like in this situation, instead of doing that, you took the route of doing what was best for you and like not wearing yourself thin, trying to work on the relationship, instead picking your own happiness and honoring yourself and doing what's best for you confidently. Why is the Fool here? 8 of Wands in reverse. Why is the Empress here? King of Pentacles in reverse. Again, there's this energy of maybe your person feeling that they may have held you back or that they maybe even felt at some point like they wanted to prevent you from starting over or taking some sort of leap or new beginning, but it's almost this energy of recognizing that like you're a force to be reckoned with and there's no stopping your process of change. And as much as they would have wanted to hold on to you, it's like they realize that it just would have been a drawn out, painful experience for all. It's like you can't be held back is like this feeling here. They feel like you're someone that can't be held back and you need to be able to focus on your dreams in a sense. Let's see what else. Whatever it is, this person like understands. They don't, even though they're different and it's like they had a different idea of what they maybe wanted, they do recognize they recognize you, they understand you, and like I feel like they think of you very highly. But it's this feeling of like they can't keep you, you know, they can't. There's also a sense of you being somewhat of like someone who's a little bit coveted or like seen as a prize as well. Okay, what else? Can we clarify this message, please? Coming from pile number 3's person. We have man holding a heart. Yeah, we have the world in reverse here, though. It's like no matter like how much they like loved you or wanted things to work out with you, it's like with the world in reverse, they couldn't hold you back from the world in a sense. Like they couldn't keep you away from the world too. It's like you need to be free is kind of this feeling here. Yeah, magician in the mirror. Yeah, all tied up in reverse, like 100%. So it's like as much as they loved you or love you and feel that, there's just this recognition of you as like sort of like a very powerful person who has like a vision, even like has a purpose. And it's like you can't be tied. You needed to free yourself from any constriction. Like you need to be free. Like I don't know how else to really put it. And it's like you're not, yeah, look at this, so interesting. So you're not this woman holding a coin in reverse with this man holding a coin. You're not someone with a root chakra blockage. It's like you have this stability within you to try new things and good to go after your dreams. But I feel like this is someone who is more earthly focused, likes to stay put, likes to be very secure and like have a very predictable and known path. It's very pentacle. But also what I'm getting is that they maybe even feel that there was like an incompatibility, like maybe you wanted more emotional connection or more emotional fulfillment rather than something more like material. Yeah, so interesting. All right, so for the extended reading, I want to look at whether or not your person has any regrets in general about the past or regrets about how things turned out. I also want to see what this person will want to say to you. We'll get tarot, oracle, and some message cards, and then we'll be looking at whatever you need to hear about this connection. Like if there's a sense of closure or like a sense of you're on the right path from spirit, or any advice on what's in your highest good in regards to this connection and your path is what I'm going to be looking at as well. So I'll have that link down below for those of you that want to join me. Other than that, if you found this reading helpful or interesting, if you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment. I really do appreciate everyone who does that. And if you want to see more pick a card readings from my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. Other than that, it's been an honor to read for you, and I hope to connect with you again soon.